Hello Zija, today is Friday Fit Fix, and just a reminder, these segments are tips and tricks for becoming fit, staying fit, how to use our Ripstix products so we get the best of them, and we're also going to focus today on nutrition tips for fat loss. Not weight loss, but fat loss. So many of us, when we talk about losing weight, we talk about weight loss. And many of our fad diets, such as Atkins, HCG, and other diets that some of you may have tried, typically we are losing not only fat, but we're also losing muscle, we're losing water, and other parts of our body that we actually don't want to lose. So today I'm going to talk to you about tips on losing fat. And it's nutrition. So as we age, I hate to admit it, but being over 40, I've noticed differences on what I can eat and my activity levels and how my body responds differently now than it did even 5 or 10 years ago. There's a 80-10-10 rule, which means 80% of what you look like and your health is changed by what you eat. Okay, so our diet is about 80%. 10% is our workouts, and 10% genetic. So if we can just tweak a few things that we're doing every day as far as what's going in, we can definitely change our appearance, how we feel, and the strength and energy and motivation that we have every day. So my first tip is to focus on not eating carbs after 3 p.m. So when I say not eating carbs, we know that many of our vegetables have carbs. I would recommend keeping those into your diet and high protein after 3 p.m. That simple trick can make a huge difference in how you begin to lose fat, not weight. Typically after 3 p.m., our activity levels are decreased and we're gearing down for nighttime and sleeping. So when we put food into our body, we want to make sure that it matches our activity level hours after we have consumed it. So in the morning, we're going to eat more because our activity level is high. At night, unless you have a different type of schedule, if you're playing sports, if you're going to the gym at night, that's when you can kind of adjust what calories are going in. So tip number 1, eliminate or decrease carbs significantly after 3 p.m. Number 2 is to also make sure that your pre-workout is consumed prior to 3 p.m. And many of you probably know why, because we want to make sure that we can sleep, and our rest is very crucial into fat loss. If you are not getting enough sleep, our insulin levels are increasing and our body is then signaled to hold on to fat. So tip number 2, make sure your pre-workout is consumed prior to 3 p.m. Tip number 3 would be to make sure that you are drinking enough water. Usually you want to take about 1 ounce of water per 1 pound that you weigh. So if you weigh 130 pounds, you want to try to get as close to 130 ounces of water per day, if possible. Anything above 80, let's admit, is probably a good thing. I know I'm not very good at that, and I need to work on that as well. But try it. You know, if you're used to only 1 or 2 bottles of water a day, try bumping that up to 80 to 100 ounces and see how you feel. Our bodies are then told to let go of toxins and flush them out rather than hold on to them. Dr. J in a previous segment on Mondays talked about oxidation and how inside our body begins to rust. Making sure you're consuming enough water or hydrate. Anything to kind of help flush the system will help prevent that oxidation. Another good tip, tip 4, would be small, frequent meals throughout the day. Every time you consume food, even when it's naughty food, your body is then activating your metabolism. So metabolism increases. Now, I'm not by any means telling you to go out and eat whatever you want, but if you're taking in the right foods and you're doing it frequently, that metabolism never has a chance to drop. So if I only eat once, metabolism spiked and then it begins to fall. As soon as you eat again, spiked. So if you're having small meals, that metabolism never has a chance to fall, which is a great thing. Same thing for workouts, which this segment's not about working out, but the more you work out, the more that metabolism is spiked. So you want to break those workouts apart. You don't necessarily want to do weight training and cardio at the same time. If you can, break those up. Do a walk in the morning, spikes metabolism. Do your weight training at night, spikes metabolism. 2 times in one day rather than one is another good tip. Tip 5 would be to cut out sugar, and all of us know this, but sugar is toxic. It signals our body to do the wrong things. That is what clogs our arteries. It's what makes us sick. It's what suppresses our immune system, and if your goal is to lose fat, sugar is going to be your biggest obstacle. I challenge you to look into your labels if you aren't currently doing that. I know that many of us do that, but look at your labels and look at how many grams of sugar we're consuming in every product, just about every product that's out there. You want to limit that. The daily recommendation is a maximum of 9 teaspoons per day, but if you really and truly want to lose fat, I would cut that down to 5 or less per day. Another good tip. 2 more. Making sure you're consuming clean, whole foods. So if they're foods from the earth, they're all natural. Many of Zija's products contain natural ingredients, things that are good for our body, that our body recognizes and knows what to do with. Make sure you're consuming those. Usually in a grocery store, it's the foods all around the perimeter, not necessarily the ones down the aisle that we want to be purchasing and consuming. And the last tip is to make sure that we end our day with protein and greens, if at all possible. So our plant-based protein, the core moringa, vanilla or chocolate protein at night, consumed with any type of dark green veggie, is a great way to signal your body to start burning through any fat that is stored as we're sleeping. We don't want to carb load at night, because then what happens to those carbs? We lay down, go to sleep, there's no activity, and then our body tells itself to hold on to those carbs and then stores fat. So hopefully you can try 1 or 2 or all of these tips and let me know how it works for you. I know those tips have worked for me when I am disciplined. So anyway, that's all for today. Thanks, Zija.